The third major update for Smash Ultimate brought us the long-awaited DLC fighter Joker. However, among many other things, we've been given Stage Builder as well. This is a pretty staple mode in Smash ever since Brawl, and the fact that it wasn't in the game upon launch did come as a shock. But now it's here, and it's better than ever. Being added late into the game, Stage Builder is able to share a pretty big spotlight with Joker. It spawned a variety of things, ranging from well-drawn artistic stages, to meme stages, to dicks. Tasteful? Not usually. Hilarious every time. Anyhow, another thing came with the addition of Stage Builder, and that is, very obviously, Stage Builder combos. I've been doing item combos since the release of Ultimate, and I've been doing them for 2 years prior in Smash 4. When Stage Builder first came out and I realized custom stages couldn't be accessed through training mode, I was pessimistic about things. However, Twitter happened to pick up a few big Stage Builder combos, and this sparked my new mindset of separating item combos from Stage Builder combos. Despite the inherent difference though, there are quite a bit of similarities in the process of making them. Sorry for such a long introduction, but I felt it would be nice to give a little background on this whole thing. See, frankly, I have a much easier time making Stage Builder combos compared to my item combos. You have more control over where the combo and your characters end up, and you have a lot more space to work with. Going about how you make one for yourself isn't going to be very concrete. As you can imagine, a lot of the process requires knowledge of your character and the Smash engine, creativity in how you build upon your steps, and patience to keep retrying over and over again to get something unique. However, I think giving my own personal advice after what has been essentially years of doing this could help others get into this whole thing. Eventually in the video, I'll go over how to properly use each of the tools in training mode, what they can do or can't do, and how to make them work. For now though, let's just go over the fundamentals. You can tackle a combo in many ways. How I like to shape things though is just by starting out with a type of solid ground anywhere on the stage. If you want to try to make things varied though, you could try and change exactly where you start out, be it the center, the top left corner, or the bottom right corner. After this, choose your character and your dummy. Who you choose is up to you, but who the dummy is can certainly affect the combo. A character like Pichu would be harder to hit in the chaos of things, but easier to kill or launch. Ridley is a very common pick on the other hand because his hurt box is a lot bigger, meaning it'd be a lot easier to hit him and follow up on the combo. Keep this in mind when choosing. Perhaps it'd be best to start labbing with someone in the average weight range, or just a large character who's easier to hit like Donkey Kong or King Dedede. From there, just think about how you want to start the combo, one step at a time. If your character has a neat bread and butter low percent combo, you can work with that. Try to make things consistent though, like where you start the combo and where they end up. Then, exit testing mode and place something there where they ended up. Do the combo over again until you get to the part you just added. See if you need to make any adjustments, and if not, see where they end up from there. Keep on going through the combo, from the beginning up until the part you just added. Adjust however you see fit and add to it. Very importantly, be good about keeping things consistent so you don't have to keep messing up when you go through it. You can add markers to help keep things consistent like I did here. You could also listen to sound cues like this part of my Game & Watch combo. Here, I inputted the judge the instant I heard the lava spike Ridley. Things like that. If you have something specific you want to show off, a combo, tech, finisher, or anything like that, build the combo around that, which is the beauty of stage builder combos compared to item combos. If you want to finish with a Warlock Punch, add portals, lava walls, and springs so things can be put into position. If you want to show off a cool Joker combo in tech, maybe just start the combo that way. This is really all of the general advice I can give on the process of making one of these combos though. It has to be vague because the possibilities are essentially infinite on what you do, where, and how. The concept on keeping things consistent and taking them one step at a time though is what I use for item combos too, and it hasn't failed me yet. It's what made all of my combos up until now possible. What's also made all of my item combos possible is my knowledge of items and stage hazards. For Stage Builder, the equivalent is basically all the tools you've been given. Personally, I do a lot of my learning about things by either labbing them out right then and there, or seeing videos online. So, I'll just go over the basics and let more unique applications be discovered on your own. I'll start off with something obvious, yet not really obvious. The stage background and the music is more important than you'd think. For the music, it doesn't really matter for the combo itself, but when testing out your combo, you want to keep yourself from getting too bored. And luckily, unlike training mode, the music won't reset when you restart the testing stage, like this. Pick a song you like to listen to help keep yourself entertained during this arduous process, and note that it can also be changed whenever you'd like. Oh, and usually it's best to make the stage size big. There's not really a reason not to, since the combos have the potential to go on for a while, so you may want the most space available to you to work with. The background you choose doesn't exactly matter on its own, but how you base the aesthetics around it do. Now, I'm not a pro on color theory or any of that, so I don't try to tell you what combinations do or don't work. But remember that these combos really are an aesthetic thing. They exist to be flashy, cool to see, and all of that. So choosing your terrain type to match the background, as well as maybe even your fighter costumes, can help make the combo pop out a lot more. On the topic of terrain, how you handle this doesn't exactly matter. Just note that if you make a straight line, you'll make a platform, which you can go through to set up for additional movement options. And for the angle of the terrain, this can affect how the opponent is launched if they get knocked into it. Generally though, just use terrain when you need some solid ground to stand on, or if you need a wall. Now, ice is a terrain type I'm not entirely sure how you'd use. You slide, sure, but not a lot. It doesn't seem like something that would be necessary for a combo, especially with how much portals help you for movement, but you could try and see if the slide effect would benefit your character in any way. Lava. This is a huge one. Adjustable terrain that launches based on its angle. If it's flat and they land from the top, they're going straight up. If it's flat and they get hit from the bottom, they're spiked. If it's slanted, they'll be launched accordingly, and so on. This is a really nice and easy way to continue the combo without needing your character to be there. It does a lot of damage and knockback, it's very consistent, and you can be on the other side of the stage while continuing the combo somehow. When it comes to gravity and the rails and whatnot, the obstacles like cannons or springs are, unfortunately, not affected. So everything I say regarding these can be applied to the terrain options we just discussed. Gravity is a pretty neat mechanic, honestly. Applying gravity to a piece of terrain can lead to wacky situations, but using it for a combo doesn't seem like it would do that much. Falling and rolling objects don't have hitboxes and are usually too unstable to move you from point A to point B efficiently, especially when rails, gears, or even portals exist. However, I do think gravity has its uses when applied to lava. The gravity itself won't influence the hitbox of the terrain, but lava itself is a hitbox. With applied gravity, it can be a very wacky, fast-moving hitbox. But, personally, that's all I've come up with for an application of gravity thus far. Gears and rails are a more practical way to move terrain. The speed can't go super fast, but it's still a moving platform. This is another thing that I think benefits most when applied to lava, but really its use is self-explanatory. If you need to be moving for whatever reason, just without, moving, then this is the tool you use. Or if you need an obstacle to be there 1 second and then somewhere else the next, this is also needed. Just add in a switch if you want to time a terrain's movement manually, rather than having to wait for the timing before you get into things. The real meat and potatoes, though, lies in the obstacles. First up is the cannon. This fella can be applied in a lot of ways. In this game, following up when someone receives a lot of knockback can be super hard since they fly so quickly. Luckily, it seems really easy and less precise to get someone launched into a cannon. When they get launched from the cannon though, take note that they have invincibility. And when they stop having invincibility, they can technically act out, making the combo not quite as true. As such, if you want to follow up after the cannon blast will have to lead the opponent into something that could still affect them despite their invincibility. Lava will work perfectly, they get launched right into it no troubles at all. A second cannon will work too, I guess. You can also use a solid wall too. Just know that after someone hits a solid wall from a cannon, it's not going to be that long until they can act out of it, like you can see in my Game & Watch combo here. If the follow-up is very soon after hitting the wall, you'll probably be fine, but please keep this in mind. Of course, the opponent doesn't have to be the only one to enjoy the cannon. As I just noted, if you hit a surface after being launched from the cannon, you can act very quickly out of it, and in some angles also keep your momentum. You could also use the hitbox that comes with being launched from the cannon for the combo somehow. The spring is a very nice obstacle, and I like it quite a bit. It helps fill in the hole of the actual spring item, which they've since taken out. The uses for this are pretty obvious, especially since it can float midair. Want to cancel a command grab? Use the spring. Need another jump, or perhaps need to go even higher than you would normally? Springy dingy. Need to cancel one of your attacks into another attack? Well, goodbye winter, it's spring. Since you can't seem to tilt the spring in this position, you unfortunately can't use it for the same type of momentum boost as the spring item in Smash 4, but it's still a super useful tool as a movement option. Know that an opponent who lands on the spring can act out of it almost immediately, and therefore could probably air dodge immediately away after landing on it. So comboing off of it may not be the best option if you're trying to make your combo super true. Warp Zone. Or portals, just call them portals. This is the most dominant aspect of stage builder combos. You keep your momentum when going through them, long-lasting attacks will be carrying over, and overall they give you movement options like you've never had in this game before. If I'm being frank with you all, I'm not the biggest fan of how dependent on this obstacle stage builder combos are. They risk making them feel stale or lacking creativity. But a ton of people seem to like them regardless, and that makes me happy too, which really helps since using the portal is super easy actually. Going back to how I started this guide, with adding based on where the opponent ends up, the portals are great for just that. Is your opponent out of reach, or perhaps you want to follow up with a certain attack, but that attack does tons of knockback? You know what to use. They'll go through the portal, be sent to who knows where, and flung into absolutely anything. Knock an opponent into a portal, then go into another portal yourself, to essentially transport the combo into a different part of the stage. Basically, a big appeal of stage builder combos is that they can last quite a while without losing much momentum, and this is thanks to the portals. What would normally be a finisher for a normal item combo can be the middle of the combo here. Get creative with how you use portals too, remembering that momentum, hit stun, and hitboxes stay around when going through a portal. The bumper is an item I use quite often in my item combos. A good positioning item and a good way to be able to follow up to a combo you normally wouldn't be able to. The issue in item combos though is that the bumper doesn't stay out for very long. Here though, the bumper is eternal and everlasting. It serves a similar purpose to lava or cannons, but does so in a different way. The knockback dealt by a bumper is smaller, meaning it'll be easier to follow up with. However, if someone gets launched into it at too high knockback, it'll only slightly change their angle, not send them back. And remember that the bumper is a circular position. This means that getting a consistent angle out of it can be pretty difficult. I'll admit, I haven't found much of a use for the latter yet. I suppose if you want to use it for movement options, you can, or perhaps the sacred ladder attack in your combo. But when things like springs and portals exist, the ladders seem obsolete, especially when they can mess with your attacks that require inputting upwards. I'll lab it a bit in the future, and perhaps you can too if you'd like, but that's what it is now. You can use the bomb block as terrain that you hit to cancel your attack, but it'll mostly shine when used in tandem with explosive blocks. How? The ways it can be used in the combo aren't crystal clear to me yet, but it can be used with terrain that has gravity or to make a wall go away. Basically, when it comes to combos, I like to think of the bomb block as the key or a switch, and the explosive block as a door. Finally, wind is something I've toyed with a little bit. I think it could be another movement obstacle, as it doesn't seem to affect the knockback of an opponent too much. You could use the wind on yourself to enhance movement as well, or even keep yourself afloat if need be. This is another one I'd have to test out. Perhaps it could be cool to replace almost all terrain with just wind in a combo, but yeah. Sorry if this didn't go quite as in-depth as you would have hoped, but I think a big part of labbing these combos is the aspect of discovering new stuff while you're labbing them. I really can't get too specific with how you make these because it's all up to you in the end, but I just hope I was able to give some interesting insight that'll help you understand or even tackle this daunting task. And if you're just watching just to see how I go all about this, I hope I was able to make the process at least somewhat clear. If I were to give one final piece of advice for making your combo, outside of trying to keep things relatively true, my suggestion is to not add things that don't have a reason for being there. I may be a bit strict about this myself, but I do think it's something worth considering. I've seen a lot of combos use a certain tech, but in a way where the tech itself didn't add anything to the combo that would be impossible without it. Just a little food for thought though, I'd hate the thought of this whole thing being way more serious than it should be. It's something entertaining that you should enjoy doing, and people should enjoy watching it for whatever reason it may be, whether the technicality of the combo or its flashiness. Whatever works, works. With that, I'll end the video here. If I feel like I want to add any points, I'll edit the pinned comment with them, and if you have any questions, I'll try to respond to them if I can. Whatever you want to do with this information, I wish you all the best. Stay casual, and I'll see you later.